Yay. Hi. Okay, so this is going to be a morning meditation. It's from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous that looks like this. I've mentioned before, I'm not active in AA now, but I love this book. It's actually the book that we use I'm not active in OA either, but when you go to do eating disorder meetings, use this book as well. So this book is just awesome. I love it. But I want to read the morning meditation. So it's on page 86. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. And in thinking about our day, we may face indecision. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought, or a decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We're often surprised how the right answers come after we have tried this for a while. What used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. We might pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it. We usually conclude the period of meditation with a prayer that we be shown all through the day what our next step is to be, that we be given whatever we need to take care of such problems. We ask especially for freedom from self-will and are careful not to request for ourselves only. Muy importante. We may ask ourselves, however, if others will be helped. We are careful never to pray for our own selfish ends. Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing that, and we see it doesn't work. Time doing that, and it doesn't work. You can easily see why. If circumstances warrant, it's the 11th step, by the way, meditation. If circumstances warrant, we ask our wives or friends to join us in morning meditation. If we belong to a religious denomination which requires a definite morning devotion, we attend to that also. If not, members of religious bodies, we sometimes select and memorize a few prayers which emphasize the principles that we have been discussing, not disclosing. There are many helpful books also. Suggestions about these may be obtained from one's priest, minister, or rabbi. Be quick to see where religious people are right. Make use of what they offer. As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves we are no longer. No, I like to turn pages like that. It's not even a good book to do that with. We are no longer, let me start that because this is the best. Okay, as we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves we are no longer running the show, humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, thy will be done. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. We are then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. We become much more efficient. We do not tire so easily, for we are not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. It works. It really does. We alcoholics are undisciplined, so we let God discipline us in the simple way we have just outlined. But this is not all. There is action and more action. Faith without works is dead. The next chapter is entirely dedicated to step 12. So this is 80, because I memorized, like, I was active in A for a year and a half. I've been through the steps. I've taken 2 girls through the steps, 2 and a half actually. I always say that. She went out, but then she got sober. She messaged me like a few years later. I was so fucking happy. One time she showed up drunk to a meeting and I was like, "Ew, I don't know what to do about this." It was cool. I called my sponsor. She told me what to do about it. And I want to make a video, not right now. This is page 86, 87 in the big book. Whether you're have an issue with alcohol or not, I recommend this book. It's just full of God and wisdom and awesomeness. I want to try to make a video probably today. I was kind of triggered by that movie, Body Brokers, and it brought up stuff, but I really want to make a video about the very clear difference between AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and treatment. They're two totally different things. And so many people, yeah, I'm going to make a video about it. I bow down to AA. God is in those rooms. Treatment centers, reparenting centers, reprogramming centers, that's all sick stuff. And I didn't even understand until I saw that documentary. It's all based on true events. And I know some of the characters that they're talking about. It kind of like, well, one thing that was interesting, if you saw that movie, the guy was in the treatment center for 90 days and didn't go to one AA meeting. And I thought about that. I was like, that is so crazy to me. But then I was like, in a way, my relationship with AA, like, even though we went through the whole it's more your eating thing than alcohol, um, was kind of tainted by the treatment center. Because when you go in there like this vulnerable person, well, I'm going to get to this in the movie. That was the morning meditation. I love you guys. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hey, Keely, about the big book or AA? Have you been to a meeting? I know that it was one of the saddest things. I love AA meetings. Like, I remember having a conversation with my sponsor about like me needing to focus on my eating disorder to start going to OA meetings, which uses the same book. But I was like, but I'm gonna miss meetings. She's like, you could still go to the open ones. The difference between what, love? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna make a full video on that. But AA is its own thing. This has been around. I wanna say like the 30s. Bill and Bill got together. So Alcoholics Anonymous is a 12-step program. Okay. It doesn't talk about a treatment center. It doesn't talk about 90 days. It doesn't talk about hypnosis. It doesn't talk about mind control. None of that. This is pure God, Alcoholics Anonymous. And the people in those rooms are there for you. And they're not motivated by money, exorbitant amounts of money, or anything else. When I was in a really shitty situation, and my martial arts teacher asked Whitney to give me the 4,500 that she owed me, and said I was in trouble. And Whitney said, "Let her die. She's a useless drug addict. Let her die." And my martial arts teacher, Cameron Shane, said, "What makes you think she has drug problems? When was the last time you saw her? 5 years ago? She doesn't have drug problems. She has life problems." And Whitney said, "I don't care," and hung up on him. So that period of time. So also my sponsor called Whitney. Rika called Whitney twice. She was fucking in her car on the way to the airport to Japan with 2 of her kids and called Whitney twice on my behalf. And she's like, "Just go to AA meetings, go to AA meetings." I was like, she goes, there's something called couch surfing. Like, if you are like, don't have a place to sleep, people in AA, like if they can offer you a couch, they will. And I said, "Rika, I'm not an alcoholic. Like, I'm smoking pot too. So I also don't want, like, I have so much respect for AA. I was like, I don't want to go in there and take a couch or a place that a real alcoholic needs." She's like, "Actually, I don't know what to do. I just know that there's safe, good people there." It was so funny. But it was like, yeah, but this is a different thing. You have to stay true to yourself every step of the way. But another thing that I got from Queen Cut Tarot, that she actually saw one of my things that I posted, it filled my heart. and it's been in my head, like it's been a really awesome autopilot thought. When we feel like anything, like if we have like shame or guilt or like, anything, obviously, always when you've done something wrong, do everything that you can to make it right. You know, that would be, I don't give advice, but that's how I live my life. But, you know, there's things that make life, this whole life thing tricky. And Queen Cup Tarot said, she goes, God knows how you move. God knows why you move. Like she said something so funny, like, forget forgiveness. We're out of line. It's not about forgiveness, just acceptance and accountability, and then you can just forget this whole forgiveness part because you're conscious. Jared is a G. Sinead a G. Sinead a G. I'm going to make a full video on that. But treatment centers, I'm not saying they're all bad. I was in a hellhole. I've heard a lot of hellhole stories and a lot of really, I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm still going to have to process this whole body brokers thing. But like, how many people have died because of this? Like, the ending of body brokers, I'm not going to tell you, it's dark. But one thing that happens is people go to these treatment centers and the recidivism rate is extremely high. Like, I remember when nobody believed it was my first time in rehab. Everyone was on like their sixth, seventh time in rehab. What the fuck going on with these people? Some of it now makes sense with that movie. Hi. But like, so people will go to a treatment center, right? As a heroin addict, as a whatever. So she's heroin. And they'll be in there 30 days, 60 days, whatever, 90 days, whatever the scam is. I just can't believe that it was, I wrote it down. It was the CARE Act of 2008, Obama styles. Anyway, like they go out. I was talking to one of the old employees of the Hills yesterday. He's like, I can't tell you how many times they made me like turn people down for money and insurance. Anyway, and he actually was one of the guys that worked there, who's my friend. He's one of the first people that reached out to me and apologized and said like the shit that happened there and everything. He used to take my pee in a cup every week. Anyway, he actually was a body broker for a little while. He's like, I got into it to be of service. And I don't want to say too much about that movie, but so AA is the bomb. Treatment centers questionable. Oh, I was thinking about how many people because when people go out, they'll go out and use the same amount. So we used heroin, right? If somebody shoots like say this much of heroin and that's like what they take every day, if they're not doing that and then they're sober for 60 days and they take that amount, people die. It's really fucked up. AA works because it changes your thinking. It's like the 12 steps. They say that there's, in the book, it says there's 2 ways that you can your life is changed through the 12 steps. I believe I had the spiritual way, but it depends on how you look at things, right? So you can have spiritual experiences, which I had so many in the year and a half that I was sober and going through the steps. And in the rooms of AA, Hondo, is that an approved toy? And in the rooms of AA. And then they say just going through the steps yourself, like if you're more of like a pragmatic person, just going through them will change and I don't want to say improve your brain, but reorganize it so that you don't suffer anymore, right? Okay, Sinead G, Jared G. I'm going to check out that Body Brokers. Yo, Body Brokers. Body Brokers. It's so intense because, especially for me, because I experienced it, like, some of these stuff, like, I'm like, there were times when people were like, hey, Ashley, how's it going? Why were these people so excited to pick me up at the fucking airport? People hate picking people up at the airport. But yeah, I'm gonna do a live about that. I just wanted to do a morning meditation. I love you guys so much. Have the best day. Body brokers, body brokers, body brokers. And then for laughs, I don't like SNL at all. I haven't thought it was even close to proper since like the 80s. Um, but a lot of the women are in this movie called Wine Country. I watched it twice in 2 days. That's how funny it was. I was like in my like here, the dog's like, ah, like it's really, really funny. So if you want to laugh, they're like independent of, it's not like weird, you know, SNL stuff. All right, later, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to make these just videos too. Okay, bye. Love you. Jared OG, Sinead OG.